What if I told you the real reason so many men over 60 lose their ability to stay firm in the bedroom has nothing to do with age, low testosterone, or performance anxiety? What if the mornings you start with a simple cup of coffee, the same coffee you've trusted for decades, are silently weakening your circulation, draining your energy, and stealing the strength you once took pride in? Most men never see it coming. One day everything works, and the next, it feels like your body betrays you, leaving you staring at yourself in the bathroom mirror wondering, what happened to me? For millions of men, it isn't just about sex, it's about identity. It's about waking up and feeling like a man, feeling alive, feeling capable. The worst part is pretending everything is fine when deep down you feel the panic, the embarrassment, the fear that things may never return. No man should ever have to feel powerless in his own body. But here's the paradox. The solution is not to quit coffee or load your body with medications. In fact, you can keep your coffee exactly as it is. Because when you add one simple natural ingredient, your coffee can transform from something that drains your vitality into something that restores it, boosting blood flow and erection strength in as little as 24 hours. My name is Dr. Mohit Khera, professor of urology and men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience, and today I'll show you exactly how. Before we go any further, if you're serious about reclaiming your strength and you want real medical guidance designed specifically for men over 60, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. This channel exists to help you stay strong, independent, and confident at any age. And I want your feedback. After watching, type 1 in the comments if this message speaks to you, or 0 if you feel it missed the mark. Your voice shapes what I teach next. Now, let's get into the truth every man deserves to know. Because what's happening inside your body as you age is not random, and it's not inevitable. There is a biological reason erections become weaker, why energy fades, why your morning coffee no longer gives you the power it once did, and understanding this reason is the first step to getting your vitality back. So listen closely. We're about to start with the real cause behind declining performance after 50. What's happening to your blood vessels, your circulation, and the nitric oxide that controls the strength of every erection. Once you understand the root problem, the solution will make perfect sense. Let's begin. 1. Why erections decline after 50. Most men never hear the truth until it's too late. One day you wake up realizing something is different. The strength you once trusted, the confidence you never questioned, begins to slip away. Not with a dramatic crash, but slowly, quietly, like sand falling through your fingers. You tell yourself it's just stress or fatigue, or you didn't sleep well. But deep down, in the silence of the night, you feel that fear. What if this is the beginning of the end? What if I'm losing the part of myself that makes me feel like a man? Here's the shock that most doctors never say out loud. The first place erectile problems show up is not in the bedroom. They begin in your blood vessels. Long before a man sees the physical effects, the body is already struggling on the inside. After the age of 50, the tiny arteries that carry oxygen and blood to the heart, brain, and yes, the penis, begin to stiffen and narrow. It's not noticeable at first. You still walk fine, breathe fine, think fine. But inside, the highways delivering life to your most intimate muscles are slowly closing. Erections are not controlled by desire or masculinity. They are controlled by blood flow. No blood flow, no strength. No strength, no confidence. And what truly devastates men is not the physical problem, it's the emotional weight that comes with it. Many men carry this burden alone. They avoid intimacy out of fear of failure. They smile on the outside but feel ashamed inside. They stop initiating, stop reaching, stop believing. Some even begin to withdraw from love, from touch, from connection, because it hurts less to avoid trying than to face disappointment. And here is the deeper truth that should shake every man awake. Declining erections are often the first warning sign of cardiovascular disease, years before a heart attack or stroke appear. The body whispers before it screams. But here is where hope lives. The decline is not destiny. It is not age-winning. It is not the end of your story, because the very process that weakens erections can be reversed. Blood vessels can open again. Nitric oxide can rise again, circulation can be restored, and when blood returns, so does strength, desire, and confidence. And the most surprising part? The very cup of coffee you drink every morning can either damage your circulation or transform it. The difference comes down to what you put in it, because when you add the right ingredient, everything changes. So now let's uncover why regular coffee is no longer enough and what is silently happening every time you take that first sip. Let's step into the truth. 2. Why coffee alone isn't enough. Here's the shocking truth. The drink that gives you the energy to start your day may also be the very thing slowly draining the strength that defines you as a man. Every morning, millions of men wake up hoping their coffee will push them through the exhaustion, the sluggishness, the fog that seems to thicken with each passing year. Coffee becomes the lifeline. Without it, mornings feel impossible. With it, you feel awake for a moment, but only a moment. Then the crash comes. The fatigue returns, the spark fades, and the cycle starts all over again. But what no one tells you is this: caffeine does not rebuild the body. It pushes the nervous system harder while the root cause of declining performance continues to worsen beneath the surface. After 50, your body produces significantly less nitric oxide, the molecule that opens blood vessels and allows erections to happen. By 60, it may drop by half. Coffee doesn't fix that. It doesn't nourish your arteries, doesn't restore blood flow, doesn't protect the tissues that make intimacy possible. Instead, it demands more from a system that is already struggling. You feel wired, but not truly alive. Alert, but not powerful. Awake, but not restored. Too many men rely on coffee as a substitute for vitality, when vitality can never be brewed from caffeine alone. Deep inside, your blood vessels are begging for something more, something that doesn't just temporarily stimulate your body, but strengthens it from within. And that is why, even with your daily coffee, you may still find yourself yawning, slowing down, and wondering why your desire, your energy, and your erections aren't what they used to be. Men rarely talk about this, but they feel it. They feel the frustration of pouring cup after cup, hoping to feel like themselves again, yet the pep fades faster each week. They feel the embarrassment of needing more stimulation just to feel halfway normal. They feel the disappointment when strength doesn't show up when it matters most. It becomes a quiet fear. What if coffee isn't working anymore because my body isn't working anymore? But here is where hope breaks through the doubt. You do not need to abandon your morning ritual. You can keep your coffee. You can love your coffee. Because the problem isn't the coffee itself, it's what your coffee is missing. There is a way to turn that same cup into the most powerful part of your entire day. The solution is not to drink less coffee. It's to upgrade your coffee with a simple, natural ingredient that reignites blood flow where it matters most. And that begins with the first booster every man should know. Let's talk about the rich, dark powder that opens your blood vessels like a key unlocking a door. 3. Cocoa. Unlocking blood flow and restoring strength. Most men would never believe that something as simple as a spoonful of dark cocoa could change the course of their health and their masculinity. Yet here is the shocking reality. Pure, unsweetened cocoa isn't just a flavor or a treat. It is one of the most powerful natural medicines ever discovered for reopening the blood vessels that control the strength of every erection. Because at the core of every firm erection is a single truth that no man can escape: blood must flow freely. Without healthy circulation, there is no power, no stamina, no confidence, and cocoa has the extraordinary ability to turn that flow back on. Inside pure dark cocoa are compounds called flavonols, especially one known as epicatechin, tiny molecules with an enormous impact. They stimulate the production of nitric oxide, the gas that relaxes and expands your arteries so that blood can travel smoothly and forcefully through every part of your body. The very same biological pathway that prescription ED medications try to force open, cocoa supports naturally and gently. In clinical studies, men who consumed high flavanol cocoa for just 8 weeks experienced transformative improvements in vascular function and blood pressure. Their circulation awakened. Their hands and feet felt warmer again. Their energy became steadier, and their erections strengthened, not from artificial stimulation, but from real internal rebuilding. For a man over 60, this is not just science, it is hope. Because every man knows the feeling of warmth returning to a cold hand, the relief of breath filling the lungs, the quiet joy of life returning to places that once felt gone. When circulation returns, so does identity. You don't just feel better, you feel like yourself again, capable, steady, alive. Cocoa does not promise miracles. It promises biology. It gives your body back what time has taken away. And the beauty is how simple it truly is. Just 1 teaspoon of dark, unsweetened cocoa stirred into your morning coffee can begin restoring the nitric oxide you have been losing year after year. No sugar, no processed mixes, no gimmicks, just pure, dark cocoa, the way nature intended. In a few weeks, many men report waking with stronger morning circulation, feeling warmth in their lower body, and noticing a spark they thought was gone for good. But cocoa is only the beginning, because once your blood vessels start to open, there is another ancient ingredient that ignites your hormones, energizes your cells, and wakes up the drive inside you. And when the two are combined, the results become something extraordinary. Let's talk about the spice that turns up the fire from the inside out. 4. Cayenne pepper, reigniting the fire within. Here is a truth that startles most men when they first hear it. The key to feeling alive again, to feeling desire again, to feeling strength return to your body, is heat. Not emotional heat, physical heat, the kind that wakes up your circulation, shocks your blood vessels into action, and sends fresh, oxygen-rich blood racing to the places that matter most. And one of the most powerful natural tools on Earth for creating that heat is a simple red spice you may already have in your kitchen: cayenne pepper. For many men, the first reaction is disbelief. How could something so ordinary, so humble, so inexpensive be capable of producing an effect that expensive prescriptions often fail to deliver? Yet this is the surprising science. Cayenne contains a compound called capsaicin, an intense, fiery molecule proven to increase blood flow, strengthen cardiovascular performance, and dramatically raise nitric oxide levels, the very chemical that controls erection strength. When capsaicin enters your bloodstream, it signals your body to open the arteries wider, allowing blood to move more forcefully and more fully throughout your entire system. And when blood moves, life moves. Energy rises, warmth returns, desire awakens. Men who add just a pinch of cayenne to their coffee describe something remarkable: a deep internal heat spreading through their chest and down their body, a sensation of being fully awake, fully present, fully alive. That warmth is circulation accelerating. It is blood pressure balancing. It is oxygen reaching your heart, your brain, and yes, your sexual organs. That warmth is the feeling of strength returning after years of slow decline, because erections are not about age, they are about blood flow. And blood flow is something you can reclaim. For men over 60, the loss of intimacy is rarely just about the body. It affects the mind, the heart, the marriage, the confidence. It changes the way you see yourself. You look in the mirror and wonder where the fire went. You miss the connection. You miss the power. You miss being wanted. You miss wanting. Cayenne pepper does not change a moment. It changes a direction. It signals to your body that the fire is not gone. It is waiting to be relit. Imagine combining the river-opening power of cocoa with the fire-igniting strength of cayenne. One widens the channels, the other accelerates the flow. Together, they form a force far greater than either ingredient alone. But there is one more piece, a natural source of energy and hormonal support that transforms this simple coffee ritual into a complete daily formula for renewal. And once you discover it, everything changes. Let's talk about the ingredient that nourishes your masculinity at its deepest root. 5. Maca root, restoring hormonal strength and male drive. Most men never imagine that the real reason their energy, desire, horror, and erections have faded has nothing to do with age itself, but with a silent internal shift that steals vitality 1 year at a time. The shocking truth is this: after the age of 60, your natural testosterone levels aren't just lower. They can drop so drastically that the body forgets how to generate the drive, passion, and performance that once felt effortless. And when testosterone falls, everything falls with it. Energy, confidence, muscle strength, mental clarity, and the fire of intimacy that once defined who you were as a man. That loss doesn't just happen in the body, it happens in the heart. But there is a natural way to begin restoring hormonal power without medication, without injections, and without complicated routines. The answer comes from deep within the Andes Mountains, used for thousands of years by men who needed strength to survive harsh climates and long days of physical endurance. It is called Maca root, a powerful adaptogenic plant known to support testosterone production, increase total energy output, and elevate sexual desire and performance. It is not a stimulant. It does not force your body into action like caffeine. Instead, it nourishes your endocrine system, rebuilds balance, and supports your body's natural ability to create the hormones that make you feel like yourself again. In modern research, men who used Maca daily experienced dramatic improvements in libido, performance, and stamina. In some cases, within just 21 days, they reported feeling a surge of internal power returning, like a flame slowly catching oxygen after years of being smothered. They woke up with more energy, they felt clearer, stronger, more confident. And their partners felt the difference too. Maca is not a magic trick. It is nourishment at the deepest level, fuel for the masculine identity that time tries to erode. Imagine this. You start your morning with the ritual you already love. You stir cocoa into your coffee to expand the blood vessels that fuel strong erections. You add a pinch of cayenne to ignite circulation and awaken heat throughout your body. And then, with one small spoonful of maca powder, you feed your hormonal engine, telling your body to rise again, rebuild again, and remember what it means to be powerful. When these three ingredients work together, something extraordinary begins to happen. Men describe feeling a warmth spreading through them, a calm confidence replacing years of doubt, and a strength they believed was gone forever returning quietly but unmistakably. But there is one more crucial step, a final piece that transforms improvement into transformation and determines whether these ingredients truly rebuild or simply provide temporary relief. Before you try this morning formula, you must understand the mistake that causes most men to fail, and once you hear it, everything will make sense. Let's talk about the hidden factor that decides whether you rise or whether you stay stuck. 6. The hidden mistake that destroys erections without you realizing. Here is a truth almost no man over 60 has ever been told, and it shocks every patient the moment they hear it. You can take the best supplements on earth. You can drink the strongest coffee, add the right ingredients, exercise, eat well, do everything right, and still struggle with weak erections, low energy, and disappearing desire. And it is not because your body is broken or because you are past your prime. It is because of one silent, devastating mistake that steals blood flow and destroys nitric oxide without warning: chronic internal stress. Most men think stress is something emotional, something you feel only when life becomes overwhelming. But stress is not just a feeling, it is a physical chemical attack. When stress hormones like cortisol stay elevated for too long, they squeeze your blood vessels tight, shutting down the very circulation required for an erection. They block nitric oxide production, the molecule responsible for opening arteries and fueling sexual performance. They exhaust your endocrine system, draining testosterone day by day until your body becomes tired, unresponsive, and numb. And you don't even realize it's happening. You just feel weaker. You feel less present. You feel less like yourself. Many men blame themselves when intimacy fails. They feel embarrassed, ashamed, or afraid to talk about it. They avoid the subject, avoid eye contact, avoid the conversation that hurts the most. They wonder if they're disappointing their partner or if they're losing their identity as a man. Every time it happens, it cuts a little deeper. The silence becomes heavier. The distance grows, and a quiet loneliness settles in, even in a room filled with love. But what if the problem isn't you, and never was? What if your body is doing exactly what it thinks it must do to survive? When cortisol rises, the body shuts off sexual function to conserve energy. It is a biological survival response. Your body is trying to protect you, not punish you. And when you finally give your body what it needs, relief, blood flow, oxygen, nourishment, everything begins to change. Those ingredients in your coffee don't just work on your blood vessels or hormones. They work on the stress response itself. Cocoa calms inflammation. Cayenne opens the arteries. Maca stabilizes hormones. Together, they begin releasing the pressure that has been silently suffocating your performance for years. Because true strength is not built in chaos, it is built in balance. When the stress barrier falls, blood flow returns. When blood flow returns, sensation returns. And when sensation returns, intimacy becomes natural again, not forced, not feared, but welcomed. And now that you understand the enemy you've been fighting without knowing it, it's time to uncover the final key. The one thing that multiplies the power of this morning formula and turns small improvements into dramatic transformation. What happens when you combine these ingredients the right way, at the right time, in the right proportions? The answer is more powerful than you might imagine. Let me show you exactly how to do it. 7. The morning ritual that rebuilds erections from the inside out. Here is the part that shocks nearly every man when they first hear it. It's not just what you take that determines whether your erections return, it's when and how you take it, because your body is not a machine that responds the same way every hour of the day. It follows rhythms, hormonal cycles, and vascular timing. And the most powerful window to rebuild blood flow, increase nitric oxide, and restore sexual strength is the first 20 minutes of your morning, before your body is fully awake, when your bloodstream is most receptive and your hormonal engine is ready to ignite. If you miss that window, you miss the transformation. Most men start their day reacting to stress, checking emails, rushing, pushing their nervous system into survival mode before the sun is even up. When that happens, cortisol spikes immediately, choking off blood flow and shutting down nitric oxide before the day even begins. That is why so many men feel drained before breakfast and defeated before the day starts. It isn't aging, it's timing, and timing is everything. But when you start the morning intentionally, when you feed your body what it needs before stress can take over, something extraordinary occurs. The blood vessels open, the arteries soften. The heart pumps more strongly and cleanly. Nitric oxide production accelerates. Hormones rise, and the body remembers what it feels like to be powerful again. That is why this simple ritual, built around the coffee you already drink every day, works so quickly and so deeply. 1 teaspoon of dark cocoa to open the blood vessels. A pinch of cayenne pepper to ignite circulation. 1 spoonful of maca to restore hormonal drive, stirred slowly into hot coffee, allowing the heat to activate the compounds so they can enter the bloodstream efficiently. Taken before food, before stress, before distraction. And then, 5 slow breaths. 3 minutes of calm silence, letting your heart and mind settle into balance so your body can shift from survival into restoration. Men describe this moment as the turning point, not just because they feel warmth spreading through their chest and down their body, not just because they begin waking up with stronger morning erections, but because they feel in control again. They feel hope. They feel alive. Because what heals a man is not just science, it is ritual. It is consistency. It is doing something for yourself that says, I am not done. I am not broken. I am rebuilding. And now that you understand the ritual, the ingredients, the science, and the timing, there is only one question left. The question every man silently asks but rarely speaks aloud. How quickly can results begin, and what changes should you expect in the first 24 hours, 7 days, and 30 days? The answer may surprise you, and it may be the most motivating moment of this entire journey. Let's talk about what truly happens next. 8. What happens in the first 24 hours, 7 days, and 30 days? Here is a truth most men never hear, but it has the power to change everything. Your body can begin rebuilding erections far faster than you think. Not months, not years, sometimes within a single day. And the moment men realize how quickly the body responds when given what it needs, they often break down, not from sadness, but from relief. Because for many, the real pain was never physical. It was believing the best days were already behind them. The shocking reality is that the male body is designed to restore itself the moment blood flow, nitric oxide, and hormones return to balance. And when you begin this morning ritual, the shift begins almost immediately. For many men, the first 24 hours bring a subtle but powerful awakening. A warm, steady heat spreading through the body after drinking coffee with cocoa, cayenne, and maca. A sense of clarity replacing the fog that used to cloud the morning. A surprising calm. Less tension in the chest, fewer anxious thoughts. Some men feel their hands and feet warm again, proof that circulation is beginning to open. Others report something they haven't felt in months, the flicker of sensation returning where they feared it was gone forever. It is small but unmistakable, a sign that the system is turning back on. By day 7, changes become harder to ignore. Energy steadies, sleep deepens. The body feels lighter, stronger, more controlled. Men often wake with morning firmness returning, not fully but undeniably present. They look in the mirror and see color in their face again. They feel more connected to their partner, more confident when they reach for her hand, less afraid of disappointing themselves. The warmth lasts longer. The spark returns. Hope becomes real. By day 30, something remarkable happens. Blood vessels begin to remodel and expand. Nitric oxide levels rise significantly. Hormones stabilize, erections become stronger, more reliable, more natural. Not forced, not mechanical, but alive. Men report feeling like they stepped back 10 or 15 years. They rediscover laughter, energy, intimacy. They stop avoiding the bedroom. They stop making excuses. They start living again. And the transformation isn't just physical, it is emotional. They feel proud again. They feel needed again. They feel like men again. This is the moment I witness as a doctor over and over. The moment a man realizes he is not powerless. He is not broken. His story is not finished. And if results in the first month can be this profound, imagine what happens when months of restored circulation continue rebuilding tissue, healing damage, and strengthening performance long-term. But before you begin, you must understand something critical. The reason most men never experience these results, even when they have the right ingredients and the right ritual. There is a silent enemy that blocks progress for millions, and unless you know how to overcome it, nothing will change. Let me reveal the final truth that determines whether you succeed or stay stuck exactly where you are. 9. Why most men fail even when they have the right information. This may be the most shocking truth of all, and it's something most men never want to admit out loud. The reason many men never reclaim their erections, their energy, or their confidence has nothing to do with their age, their genetics, or their medical history. It comes down to something far more painful. Most men quit before their body has a chance to heal. They give up not because the solution doesn't work, but because they've been trained by disappointment to stop believing that anything can help them. Years of failed attempts, silent battles in the bedroom, and quiet shame build a wall thick enough to crush hope before it even begins. And that invisible wall, not physical decline, is what destroys a man's strength from within. The truth is brutal. Men don't lose their erections first. They lose belief first. They stop expecting improvement. They stop trying. They stop fighting for themselves. And once a man stops believing he can change, his body follows. Nothing grows in a mind that has already surrendered. That is why you can hand two men the exact same tools, the same ingredients, the same morning ritual, the same chance at renewal, and one man transforms his life while the other stays exactly where he is. The difference is not biology, it is conviction. And I understand why that happens, because the pain is real. The humiliation of intimacy failing at the moment it matters most, the silence afterward. The forced smile, the quiet turning away, the ache in the chest that says, maybe this is who I am now. Every one of those moments buries another piece of confidence. You don't just lose performance, you lose identity. You lose the part of yourself that felt strong, wanted, proud, and it hurts more than any physical pain ever could. But here is the part that matters. The body is ready to fight for you the moment you decide to fight for yourself. Biology responds to belief. Nerves awaken when the mind awakens. Hormones rise when purpose rises. Blood flow improves when a man refuses to quit. That is why this ritual works, not because it's a trick, not because it pretends to be magic, but because it restores something deeper than circulation. It restores hope. It gives you a reason to keep going one more day, one more week, one more month. And that consistency is what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. So before we move forward, ask yourself a question only you can answer. Are you willing to believe that your story is not finished? Are you willing to give your body the chance to prove what it can still do? Because if the answer is yes, then what comes next may be the most important moment of your life. There is one final step, the step that determines how far you will go and how long these results will last. And once you hear it, everything you have felt up to now will suddenly make sense. Let's talk about the real turning point that changes everything. 10. The turning point. A choice that redefines the rest of your life. Here is the most shocking truth of all, and it may be difficult to hear. The moment that determines whether you will rebuild your erections, restore your energy, and reclaim the man you used to be is not tomorrow, not next week, not someday, it is right now. Transformation does not wait for convenience, it demands a decision. Because there comes a point in every man's life when he must decide whether he will continue to surrender to decline or stand up and fight for his strength, his dignity, and his future. And that decision changes everything. Every day, I sit across from men who tell me the same story. They say they feel like time has beaten them. They say they feel invisible, unwanted, forgotten. They say they feel like they are fading away. Their shoulders drop when they speak, their voices quiet, their eyes filled with years of frustration. But the most painful thing isn't what they've lost. It's that they believe nothing can bring it back. They look at me with the weight of defeat, and they ask the question that breaks my heart every time. Doctor, is it too late for me? And I always answer the same way. It is only too late if you decide it is. The body is extraordinary. Even at 60, 70, 80 years old, it can heal, it can rebuild, it can awaken. Blood vessels regenerate, hormones rise, nerves refire, muscles strengthen, desire returns. But none of it begins without a choice. No man ever reclaims his strength by accident. It is always a moment of decision, small, quiet, but powerful enough to change the course of a life. You already have the tools. You already know the ritual. You understand the ingredients that open blood flow, ignite circulation, and restore hormonal drive. You know the timing that unlocks the fastest results. You understand what happens in 24 hours, 7 days, and 30 days. You know the enemy that must be defeated and the belief that must be rebuilt. Everything you need has been placed in front of you. Now the question is no longer, can this work? The real question is, will you choose to begin? Because if you take this step, if you commit to yourself, to your health, to your strength, your story changes today. You stop waiting for life to happen to you and start taking control of it. You stop surviving and start living. You stop wondering and you start knowing. And when you do, everything shifts. Your body responds. Your confidence rises. Your partner sees the man she has always believed you could be, standing tall again. And now, as we move into the conclusion of this message, there is one final truth you must hear. The truth that turns hope into certainty and possibility into reality. This is the moment where knowledge becomes action, where belief becomes strength, and where your future begins. Let me show you the powerful closing message every man over 60 needs to hear right now. Conclusion. Your second season begins now. So here we are, at the moment that matters most. You've heard the science, the stories, and the truth about what's possible for a man even after 60 or 70. The decline you feared is not destiny. It's a signal. A reminder that strength is not something you lose. It's something you rebuild with intention, discipline, and belief. Starting tomorrow morning, when you hold that warm cup of coffee in your hands, remember that you are holding more than a drink. You are holding a choice. Add the ingredients. Honor the ritual. Give your body the fuel it has been waiting for, because you are not done. You are not finished. You are stepping into a new chapter, one where you wake up energized, where blood flows freely, and where confidence returns with power. Your second season starts now. Stand tall. Begin today.